Hello, boys and girls. Welcome to another day of divine order. We are in day one. Thank you for coming. Before I get started, I'd like to let you know that I am the Messiah. My name is Resa Edwards. One announcement I have is to let you know if I sound a little cryptic to you, it's because I am speaking more than one language. I am speaking God's unlimited language, which is based on number. That's where I work every day under divine order. And then I'm speaking English, which is based on words, and it's a limited language. So it's kind of like patois, okay? Unlimited and limited. So bear with me. You may hear me drop some S's because God's language is written in simplest form. There's no, not a whole lot of S's in divine order, okay? So just please bear with me. Second thing I really need to let you know is it's possible you may experience mental trauma during our time that we share. How you know you're suffering from mental trauma: you may get a headache, you may get nauseous, you may get dizzy, because it's a lot of information coming into your brain and you're more than likely or greater than likely unable to process it all at one time, because God's information is infinite. So just take my word for it, it's a lot of it. So if you feel yourself suffering from any kind of mental trauma, please just turn the video off, okay? God's information is not going anywhere. Matter of fact, you can just go watch some TV, something very frivolous. And when you get your mind right, come on back at your leisure. It's no problem. Now, I have a potential challenger. I mean, really, this is so exciting. I am so happy. Thank you for being brave enough to stand up for what you believe in. What I want to just clear up is that it's $1 million per challenger. Okay, now originally I said I'll take up to 12, but I'd like to go ahead and remove that cap. I can take up to $110 million worth. That's how much we have to play with. Okay, so you can come for more than $1 million per person, or I can take up multiple people. You can be an atheist, a scientist, it does, sociologist, it doesn't matter. All are welcome. This is for a good cause. Let's make this a really grand event. Now, I'm going to go ahead and mosey on into divine order, okay? And I know you might be asking yourself, why in the world would you go into revealing your position in the competition so early? And it's okay. The reason I do this is because it's already on Twitter. The information is already public. God's information doesn't change, so I don't have any reason to fear a challenge, okay? So you work on yours, and you will see where I'm coming from and what you're up against, okay? Is that fair? All right, now, as the Messiah, my job is to be God's general. I am the general of God's Peacemaker army. So that is what I'm in the process of doing. Okay, in the process of building God's Peacemaker army, establishing world peace, and jump-starting everlasting life, amongst many other things. All right. Now, one of the very first things that God's army is going to tackle is continuous negative circumstance like STD transmission. More importantly, AIDS. We're going to work on eliminating the transfer of sexually transmitted disease like HIV. And we're going to work on, as God's general, I'm going to be working on ridding humanity of immediate time threat. Because before we can even get into God's information and really learn what existence is about, we need time. Plain and simple. Okay, so these things threaten our existence to the point where God is intervening, okay? This is divine intervention. This does not come from me. I am no genius. I want you to know that, okay? I just, hear him a little bit louder than some of you, okay? The very first thing we are going to accept at this point in time, before we can move forward, is fact acceptance. Fact acceptance determines your intelligence level. So in other words, if you are someone who believes anything someone else tells you, you are a fantastic rhetoric believer, okay? You believe words over fact. You might believe if you step on a crack, you might break your mom's back, You might believe the world was made in 7 days. Unsubstantiated information is not fact, okay? And if you can believe unsubstantiated information, that makes you a triple darkness sufferer, that makes you deaf, dumb, and blind. But that's okay, because most people are deaf, dumb, and blind, and we're working on that right now, okay? I would like to introduce you to the world of numbers, okay? This is number language. Numbers are unbiased. Unbiased means it doesn't matter your race, your gender, or your wealth. You know what I mean? What your political stance is. Numbers has absolutely nothing to do with anything man-made. This is all divine, okay? So the reason why numbers are unbiased is because it's God's program. And God's program is based on numbers. So here you see some numbers, and of course you have an example of 0, 1, 2. Hopefully you know that these are numbers. And over here, these are chemicals. The examples of chemical: oxygen, hydrogen, and carbon. Regular, elementary school stuff on the periodic table. I hope you guys remember that. Everything in existence is chemically composed, supported by a number. The only existing entity that is not chemically composed, supported by a number, is time-space. And that's another dimension. That's another lesson. It's way advanced. There's no reason for us to even concentrate on that right now. We're just trying to get ourselves to stop dying rapidly, okay? We're trying to get ourselves out of, negative circumstance. Now, you will notice the same symbol on my shirt is the symbol that we have here on the board. This is God's formula for everlasting life and forward motion, okay? Anything on the right side of God's formula is considered right and number supported. Anything on the not right side of God's formula is considered not right, and it leads to chaos. And we'll go over that in a minute. So here we go. We're going to take one of God's formulas. One very simple formula, but it's God's most abundant formula. And we're going to put a P in the greater than area. You notice these are large angles. One right here, and then another one right here. And then you have 3 triangles, and we'll get to those, okay? So P is going to stand for positive, okay? Opposite positive is negative. My marker will write, okay? You are dealing with a circumstance considered mostly. In God's number-supported kingdom, motion is mostly positive. It's based on mostly positive energy. Okay, you'll notice that negative energy or negative circumstance is enclosed in a triangle. This symbolizes proper handling, okay? This line right here represents God. He is the only entity that is a single entity. He doesn't have to rely on anyone else. God is singularly supported, okay? So if we take the concept, okay, we're going to put positive in the numerator and negative in the denominator, okay? So anything mostly positive is going to weigh more than anything that we do that is negative. At the same time, on the other side of that equation, you have the not right formula or the not right circumstance, okay? So we're going to put negative energy in this large area and put positive in this little controlled area. Already you can see Satan's formula. In Satan's formula, everything is mostly negative. So negative is in your numerator and positive is in your denominator. And so you have your number line here like we learned the other day, and negative is going to continue going up and never be number supported, okay? So this is mostly negative circumstance. Mostly negative circumstance leads to immediate time threat. We need to comprehend that this concept of the yin-yang of 50% evil and 50% good is incorrect. We need at least 51% mostly positive to enact God's formula of forward motion, okay? And this is anywhere in creation. And of course, to keep on with God's formula, we would just put another one of God's formula in this large angle right here, and another one of his properly contained opposites or not right circumstance right here. And we would move forward. And this is how we get motion. This is all of creation. This is really basic. If you want to go over it, we can. You can contact me at bssplitter@aol.com. You can follow me on Twitter at bssplitter. So that's at bssplitter for Twitter, and then at aol.com is my email address, and then bssplitter.com is my website. Okay, so we are at the end of day 1 of Divine Order. Until tomorrow, my friend.